Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Lilith Lodge Yaps. Today's topic for conversation I want to talk about is beauty standards. This is something I've been seeing a lot of. There's kind of a lot on this topic I want to discuss, so we're gonna just dive straight into it. If you hear a weird sloshing noise, I'll see if I can do it again. I'm sitting on the cat's sensory water pad because it's so hot today and it's nice and cool. I probably shouldn't be sitting on it, but I just need to explain in case you hear any weird noises. That's what it is. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hello, Tommy. So in life, we all have different types, okay? You can ask a group of people what their favorite color is and there will be a variety of answers. The same can be said about asking a group of people, what is your favorite food? And there will be a variety of answers. A small group of people, 3 friends, might say, all of us love chocolate. Chocolate is the best food in the world. Nothing tops chocolate. And another guy might join that group and he might say, oh yeah, I love chocolate. Chocolate's good. But you cannot top a hot bowl of spaghetti bolognese, okay? Everyone has a different type and it applies to everything in life, not just, women and men and, sexual attraction, okay? It's also about anything and everything. It could be you hate these bar stools that I've picked. You think they're the ugliest thing ever. That's okay. That's your opinion. You may think this blanket is ugly. That's okay. No matter what you do in life, you will never be everybody's type, okay? No matter what I looked like, it would never be possible for me or you as a viewer to be everybody's type, okay? It is just not possible. The same way you see beautiful celebrities like Sabrina Carpenter or Megan Fox, there will always be somebody commenting on threads being like, no, she's ugly, she's a 6. Why do people fangirl over this person that I think is beautiful, okay? It's because we all have different types. And that's something that I really want to stress in this video. Hello guys, I am rudely interrupting this video to bring you this channel's first ever sponsor. I know this is really crazy and I never thought this would happen. I cannot believe a brand wants to work with a sex worker. Anyway, we're gonna get right into it because clearly I don't fucking know what I'm doing and we all know I love to yap. So anyway, if you've seen a lot of my other videos, I was gifted a bag by Teddy Blake. This is the bag here. It's in my what is in my out call video. What they've asked today is that I talk about the fact that they are having a 35% off sale, which is great because it does actually make quite a bit of a dent on the price of these bags. If you've been, looking for a new work bag, or maybe you're not a worker, you're just a follower of my channel and you are in the market for a new handbag. This is the one they gifted me. It's held up really, really well. Keep in mind, I've only had it a few months, but it does get used quite a lot because it is my out call bag and like all of my supplies for work live in here 24/7. When I need to go to an out call, I just grab it, chuck my wallet and keys in and my phones and I head off. Super love this bag. Really big fan, so much so that I actually bought one of their bags with my own money. I don't even know if Teddy Blake knows that I bought one of their bags with my own money because I didn't buy it in my work name. I bought it in my legal name and they wouldn't have known that information because they sent that to my PO box. So anyway, I'm going to show you that as well because I did buy one of my own free will with my own money. The money that I made from being a WHORE. Anyway, this is the beautiful bag that I purchased for myself. This is their Grace bag, I believe. I think that one's called the Vanessa Croc in 14. This one's called the Grace, if I remember correctly, and it is like a light creamy green. Hello, Thomas. It's a beautiful bag. This was a brand new style that they let out and it was not available at the time that I selected because they let me pick the Vanessa, and I absolutely love the Vanessa, and it is perfect for work. That is the perfect size bag for work. This is more of like a going out for drinks bag, and every time I take this out, somebody comments about it. Leilani has said a few times that she wants one of these. She's a big fan of this style as well. And yeah, I've just never seen anything else like it. So I had my eye on it, ended up buying it for myself. This is what it looks like inside. There is a little strap. I've never used a strap on this bag. I have on the Vanessa, but I just feel like for this size, I just don't need a strap for it. But it's an absolutely beautiful bag. I love it. And yeah, obviously I really love the product if I've gone and bought one with my own money. So I figured that, this was probably the best brand to be doing our first sponsorship with. So yes, if you're interested, they are running a 35% off sale. I think it's site-wide or majority of the stock anyway. My coupon code 10% still works on top of the sale. So that is TB Lilith 10 if I remember correctly, and I will leave it in the description box below. Since my birthday is coming up next month as well, if any of my clients are interested, I may or may not be interested in a yellow Teddy Blake bag. There are two that I have my eyes on. I might just pop them up on the screen here. If anyone was feeling extra generous with no budget for my birthday, that's what I would be asking for. If you know, you know. Anyway, thank you so much, Teddy Blake, for being the first sponsor of my channel, which is very, very exciting. Now back to regular programming. Now, why I think this is an important topic for conversation is this is something that I see a lot in my comment section or in forums where they talk about me, and they may say things like, I don't know who would book Lilith Lodge at that price when she looks like that, who is even booking her. I see it on here quite a bit, normally in reference to these, which I will get into in a second. And I see it about a lot of other providers. Maybe she's too tall, she's too fat, she's this, she's that. And there seems to be this idea from a lot of punters, as we call them, or hobbyists or clients, that just because you don't find someone attractive, nobody else can, okay? It also feeds into the way that these workers feel about themselves when they get these kind of comments and feedback, or seeing someone that looks a certain way more successful than them, be more successful than them, and them thinking that they need to look that way in order to be successful. So we're going to discuss all of these things in this video, and yes, it's probably going to be a long yap. I'm going to try to keep it to the point as best I can. The main thing that I personally hear about my appearance and why I'm not worth being a high-end escort and the prices that I charge, 99% of the time it is about the tattoos, okay? And yes, sometimes I say tattoos because it's, you know, the Australian accent, I guess, even though it's tattoos. So just excuse however I pronounce it. The tattoos, this is how I've chosen to look. I've had these for a very long time. I love them, and that's what's important to me. I guess that having as many as I do, and if you haven't seen a full body shot, I do have more, makes me fall into the more alternative category with the way that I look, okay? And I understand that there are a lot of people that tattoos are unappealing to. They would not book a worker with tattoos, maybe one with like one or two little ones that they could kind of ignore. I completely understand that that is your opinion, and I am not attacking you for your opinion. You're entitled to it, okay? There's no beef or shade about that here. What I don't understand is that they can't comprehend that somebody else may actually find this attractive. Somebody else may be into that, okay? I have clients who I've been seeing for quite a while who only book heavily tattooed workers. That is their thing. When they look up porn on the hub, it is alternative girls, okay? That is their fucking kryptonite, right? And there are other clients who I've seen, right, who've come to me and been like, I found you through social media, that's why I'm here. I've literally never booked a girl with a tattoo before, like ever. I've literally never done it. And I've been intimidated by them, or I had these preconceived notions about how they would behave because of the tattoos, or that they might be involved in drugs or crime or anything like that. And I am always open to these conversations, right? But what I don't like and what I don't think is okay is the people who jump on my content and it'll be like a try on video, and you can go and find one on my channel and like watch it. You'll see in the comments there'll be someone being like, she's ruined herself with these hideous tattoos. Why has she done this to her body? And it's wild to me that they can't even see why I like them. They can't see that what I consider beautiful is different to what they do, and that I wasn't put on this earth to be their type, okay? The same way if I was to walk past them in the street, I probably wouldn't even look twice at that guy, okay? And that's perfectly fine. But just because I don't fit your beauty standard doesn't mean that nobody else finds me attractive. I think that's something that's really important to get across here. So obviously the biggest thing for me that I don't meet the beauty standard is these. That is the biggest issue that I hear kickback about. And for other people, that is what they are hunting for. That is their particular niche that they are obsessed with. Tattooed chicks, okay? That's just their kryptonite. I also do hear it a little bit about my body size. I think probably because when I started as a full service worker, I was what you would probably consider like stick skinny. There was no meat to me. There was no fat around my implants, so they were just like bolted on. And I was just very, very lean, bony, that kind of appearance, right? And I think I've probably put on, I want to say about 6 kilos. Obviously I've had some injections in my bum and stuff like that, and if this is the first video of me you're seeing and you can't really see much from this, you can go and have a look at a try on video. I'm a size 8 Australian, which I think is a 2 in the US, if I'm right with that. So I would be considered slim in Australia. However, there are a lot of people that like to say that I am too big, I'm fat, I am not their body type. And that's okay too. They can feel however they want to feel, but that doesn't mean that I need to lose weight to be your beauty standard, okay? That doesn't mean that other people aren't attracted to me as I am in this body, this vessel that I currently exist with. There are also guys that have probably seen me and not said anything, that, you know, maybe I was on the leaner side and they wanted more curve. That's perfectly fine, okay? I think what I want to stress here is we all have different types, and you know, there may be guys that only book blondes. Cool, they're never going to book me, that's fine. I'm not a blonde. I have black hair, I have long black hair. Maybe they like, you know, short little bobs and clean skin blondes, that's fine. Some clients will only book a very specific niche of worker. They may all be size 6 to 8, all blondes and brunettes, but have to be 6 to 8, all clean skins, or a variety of things, anywhere from my body size to a size 18. They can be like a strict box for the type, or they can be very broad and very varied. But you as a viewer need to understand that just because you don't find me attractive, that doesn't mean that I need to change the way that I look for you, okay? Because you're not the one paying my bills. All right, and this applies to you as if you're a nice viewer viewing this, it's like, oh, you know, I would never think or comment or leave a comment like that on someone's content. You may not be my type, you may be someone else's type, or vice versa, okay? It goes both ways here. The beauty standard is the beauty standard. It doesn't mean that it is everybody's definition of beauty. I think this is also an important topic to discuss in terms of other escorts or even strippers or OnlyFans girls that watch my content, because I do have quite a few. I've had a lot of friends in my time in this industry who watched me be at this level with my business and, you know, boom to here, right? And I think watching that and being so close to me at the time and seeing that success sort of stack up, and the clients and the bookings and the regulars and that kind of thing, they started to get into their head that they needed to look like me to be successful. That this was the recipe to success, was being heavily tattooed, having fake tits, dyeing your hair black, right? And that is just not the reality, okay? That is not the reality. You could look exactly like me, okay? And there's a few girls that come to mind when I make that statement. There are workers that look very similar to me, but are not getting the volume of bookings, and that's perfectly fine. Looking like somebody else is never going to equate to the exact same level of success. I could go and have a BBL done, and I could, you know, dye my hair blonde and maybe get some tattoo removal and look like Kayla East, right? She's beautiful, right? I could go and do that. But that wouldn't mean that I got the same volume of bookings and made as much money as Kayla East, because I am not Kayla East, okay? And her brand and her personality is a massive part of why she is so successful, right? I can't just look like her and therefore make the same amount of money. And I want to stress that, because this industry can be very toxic in competition and comparing yourself to other people and the way that they look. And I want to make that super clear. I've had an industry friend who, there was one night we were doing short notice together, I got more work, and she made a comment saying, if I just had fake tits, then I would actually make some fucking money. And it's that comparison. She's thinking in her head, if I just got implants and had a set of these, then I'd make more money. But that isn't the key to success, okay? And there are guys, like I used to have them at the strip club. I started as a dancer, and I had the tiniest little tits you've ever seen. They're literally like this big. If you want to check for yourself, jump on the OnlyFans for $10. There's even a section pre-boob job, and you can go and see them for yourself, okay? They were tiny, they're like this big, nothing there, little ant bites, okay? And I had regulars that would come in and see me and loved that. That was their thing. That like almost no titties was their thing, okay? They loved it. And I was still there. Like when I got these done and I went back in, I was still there. I was still an option to book. But a lot of those regulars stopped booking me because now I wasn't their type. Now I was very, very lean with two big inflatable melons on my chest, and they didn't find that attractive. And that's okay. They were never ever mean or rude to me about it. One was behind my back, but the rest of them never were. There was a niche, there was a market for men who were attracted to small tits. And I lost that market, and that was the market that I had grown in. Those were the regulars that I had built up, okay? The same way they would be for you as a full service provider who's charging the same rate as me and you have smaller tits. There will be a market of guys that is their type, okay? You don't have to look the same as somebody else to make the same amount of money. You have to work on your own marketing, your branding, find your niche and lean into that niche, okay? Follow that with your marketing. Figure out what it is that makes you you, why are you different to every other option on the market, and lean into that, okay? And the marketing stuff is a whole nother video, and I will make a video about that, okay? But what I want to stress is even if you looked exactly like me, you wouldn't necessarily make the exact same amount of money I do. The same way if I looked exactly like Kayla East, I wouldn't make the same amount of money as Kayla East, okay? When you look at something in someone's appearance and you're not attracted to that, okay, I'm pointing to this for reference, that is okay. That doesn't make you a bad person to be like, I don't like this, I don't like that. That's okay, you're allowed to have a type, the same way I have preferences on the way somebody looks, okay? But you don't need to act like what you see as beauty is the only definition of beauty, okay? I hope that's all making sense. I'm not gonna ramble for too much longer. Tommies, they love these things. Give me that so I can show it. I think I showed these in my Christmas video. If you haven't watched that, the what I got for Christmas, at the end I showed what I got the cats. These look like junk, right? Why are they so obsessed with them? It's always the dumbest fucking toys that they love. Anyway, that is it for this ramble. There you go, Tommy. He's chasing it now. But I hope that this reaches the audience that I'm intending it to, and maybe help somebody feel a little bit better who is caught up in their own head in the industry, being like, it's because of how I look, that's why I'm getting no bookings. It's probably not. It's probably marketing, and I promise you, when I have the time to sit down and film it, I will put together a video about marketing to try and offer some free assistance with that kind of thing. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day.